let's get what you all came here for, which is an update from the three big cloud conferences happen next, reInvent and Ignite, followed by back-to-back vendor showcases. Over to you, Rob Martin, to lead the section.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try really hard not to say next for this whole section, because we've got some excellent updates from each of the major conferences from the different cloud providers. And so I am excited to be here to hear what were the big announcements that are going to impact the FinOps community. We've got a great group of folks who are going to share that with us. Let me introduce them real quickly. Yogendra Joshi from Google is the lead product manager for their billing cost experience group and focuses on the operate pillar. So GCP's cost experience group is really structured around the inform, optimize, operate model of FinOps and really tightly tied to us. Google, of course, was the premier sponsor of the FinOps Foundation and F2 Partner of the Year at last FinOps X. So excited to have Yogendra here for GCP. Anderson Oliveira is here from Farfetch. He is the senior FinOps product manager for Farfetch, based out of Portugal, and we'll be talking about our Azure, the Azure Ignite news that was here. And excited to have Bindu Sharma from Guidewire Software, who is an ambassador, who is a FinOps practitioner, and who is now a member of our technical advisory council, former presenter at FinOps X in the past. So excited to have Bindu here, and along with Peter Chung from AWS. Peter is a senior solution architect with AWS out of New York, and author of the book AWS FinOps Simplified, which is also coming out very soon.
It's out. And hey, I gotta call out Anderson. There's something missing from your picture here. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, but it looks like you're not FinOps certified. I'm not sure. We're gonna actually have to pull you out. No, I'm kidding. But we'd love to get your badge on here. So
we're gonna remedy that. That's not a big deal. Okay, so what I'd like to do is kind of go through each of the big events, and each of our presenters is going to tell us what was new. We'll have a little chat afterwards. Let's start off with Google Cloud Next 22. Yogendra, you want to start?
Awesome. Can you hear me? Thanks for teeing up. Let's roll. So I'm going to bring you 4 features today to start with, but I'm going to tell you a host of features how you can actually reach to. So I know we are running on a timer, so let's move on. The next slide. We are very excited to bring the tags to your standard as well as detailed cost exports. This has been #1 ask, and we released it early this year. This is going to make your job a lot easy to understand your costs and allocate your costs. I actually request all of you practitioners, both from the customer side as well as from the partner side, to go and select that checkbox to go to detailed export. You're going to start getting a lot more out of that, starting with tags, and we are going to talk about one more feature around that. Next slide. So you know that FlexCut, which is spend-based commitments, is our differentiator. Now, you need to also start getting recommendations along with the standard cuts. And that's what we have remedied when we are launching the FlexCut recommendations combined with the cut recommendations. And we are also coming out with configuration and personalization. And the start of it would be setting your targets as to how much commitment you want to cover to start with, and a lot more is going to come in. And we are actually running a private preview for this. So this is the first time a lot of you are hearing it. I'm going to link a form to the private preview here as well as on the GCP Slack channel. So watch out for that and enroll, and let's get engaged with us. The next one. Now, we all know that you can't draw your forecast or your estimation based on the list price. You have hard negotiated a lot of the prices with us, and you also have made a lot of commitments. Now, these need to start reflecting in your estimation. So what we have done is we have released the estimation API as well as the console, the user interface, wherein you can go in and starting with the compute, and we are going to keep adding more features into this. We already have compute and storage, and we are targeting top 5 services to come soon, and there's a pathway forward. So you can start estimating at your rates and not just the standard rates for everyone. Next one. And I can keep talking about granular costs. This has been number one ask. You can never have enough of granularity into your cost data. And we have listened to our customers. We already released uh, uh, GCE granular cost last year. We introduced GK granular cost this year, which gives you data around namespaces, pods, clusters. And we also recently launched the granular cost support for Cloud Run and Cloud Functions. And stay tuned on this because a lot more services are going to start showing up detailed data and granular data. And again, I request all of you to start taking the detailed uh, BQ exports. We know we have a lot of partners who are going to talk after this. I request all the partners to start leveraging all this data. We see a lot of the partners are still not using the detailed export and the detailed data. So please start taking it up. Next slide. And I know I can't run with all the awesome things that were announced in Next 22. I just stuck to the key 4 features for like which means a lot for FinOps. But there are links where you can go and look at 123 new things that were announced around cloud. Many of them influence the FinOps journeys. And you can always keep a watch on the features that get released specifically for the practitioners, which is billing and CostX features through the release notes. And we'll also link a release note for you. So next slide. So before I hand over, I just wanted to tell you about the approach which Google Cloud has towards cost management and the practitioners. We take a four-pronged approach. One, through my group, which is billing and cost experience, we take our responsibility really seriously to give you comprehensive data, cost optimization, and governance tools. Now, we also recognize that when the rubber meets the road, the customers need a lot of help, a lot of handholding. So we also have dedicated FinOps practice and FinOps experience lab, which is led by Eric Lam, wherein we actually help our customers through various kinds of workshops. Now, Google being Google, we also have Looker, which also has, sure,
10 more seconds.
we also have the Looker dashboard, which you can take for multi-cloud. And obviously, we are closely aligned with FinOps organization, and we participate in almost every work group we can get our hands in and try to influence. So thanks a lot for having us, and thanks a lot for the award that you guys gave us, and we really cherish that. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of good conversation in the chat. I'm sure that you'll want to get involved in now afterwards as well. I'd like to also point out this is the second thing after Spot, that the introduction of tags now means that there's tags in all 3 of the major cloud platforms. So I'm very excited about that. Okay, next, moving on to Microsoft Azure Ignite. Anderson, you want to take it on?
Yes. Hey, hi everyone. My name is Anderson Oliveira, the FinOps Product Manager at Farfetch. I'm very happy to be here and have this opportunity to show what, in my opinion, are the most relevant topics related to FinOps and cloud cost management. A little bit of a Farfetch. We are a global luxury marketplace, and we are a cloud-native company that has the vast majority of our workloads running in Azure. Related to Microsoft Ignite, happened in October 12 and 14th with a mix of virtual and in-person sessions, summing more than 900 of them. The one I will summarize here is called Optimize Your Investment in Azure and Maximize Business Value. It was a 15-minute long presentation that I will try to summarize here with you in less than 5 minutes. So wish me luck. On the next slide, all the announcements made by Microsoft on this session can be summarized in 3 topics: cost management, savings, and cost reduction. If you can go to the next slide as well. maybe the second one, I guess. One more back, come back one more. Yes, yes, right there. Thank you. Cost management and savings and maximizing the value of technology. In their word, on the Microsoft words that was said there, most of organization cost management, cost reduction, maximizing value of technology, investment consistently rank as top priorities. Me personally agree with this statement, and I assume that that's the same thing for most of us. So when it comes to cloud investment, a couple of key factors tend to prevent successful cloud adoption, which is loss of financial control and increasing of cost spent. In order to address these issues, without further ado, let me take a quick view of the latest announcements relevant to FinOps. So the first one is the Azure Saving Plans for Compute. What is that? Actually, it's at a high level, it's an easy and flexible way to save on compute services compared to pay-as-you-go prices. The savings plan contains lower prices on selected compute services when you commit to spend a fixed number of hours for 1 or 3 years. We at Farfetch, we use the reserved instance. That is now how Microsoft calls the commitment-based discount, to use the FinOps terminology. But the Azure savings plan for compute is different. For example, reservations, they are used for highly stable workloads that run consistently and where you have no expected changes to the machine series or regions. Reservations provide the greatest savings. The savings plans, on the other hand, are dynamic workloads where you need to run different size virtual machines or that frequently change data centers regions. Saving plans provide flexible benefits, application, and automatic optimizations. This is applicable for virtual machines, Azure dedicated host, container instances, Azure Premium Functions, and Azure App Services. All right. Some of them are, all of this that I mentioned, there are some exclusions here and there, so you might contact Microsoft for more details about that. Okay. Yes, thanks. Another interesting feature announced by Azure team, Microsoft Cost Management and the Azure Advisor. The Azure Advisor is a free digital assistant that provides real-time insight into existing deployment. What is new here is the Azure Advisor, and it's available since October. It enables you to identify which critical view recommendations will help boost your score the most, as well as your cost efficiency over time. A score of 100% is any category means all your usage follow Azure best practices in efficiency, security, reliability, operational excellences, and performance. This is the auto-scale. Probably everybody's aware of that, the capability that allows you to auto-scale. So with predictive auto-scale, you can leverage machine learning to anticipate when auto-scale requires so that you can scale out occurs exactly when needed. The last slide I will just leave there on the screen with more details about each one of the announcements so that you can take a look at there and get more details. So thanks again and for the attention, and feel free to contact me anytime.
All right. Thanks, Anderson. Let's move on to AWS reInvent. So Bindu and Peter, you want to take it away?
Hi. Hello, everyone. Let's progress to next slide. Okay, this time around at reInvent, AWS, Amazon, they announced quite a bit of good hardware. Let's say on the Graviton 3E chip that was announced, that was used in most of these instance type that are listed. It offers more towards the maximum of 64 vCPU and memory up to 128 gigabytes. And if we look into that, the utilization for those are in EBS volume. We can see the high response time around for IO2 volume types. Now they are at par with the GP3. We have seen many companies leveraging the cost benefits of GP3. So with the IO2 using this chip that we can leverage. For these instance type, in the second bullet around the HPC, the high performance computing, they are using those chips, the R7i. This is the first time that Intel 4th generation Xeon chip is introduced. This can be used for financial trading, digital payments. The C7G and C6i, one is Graviton based, another one is Intel based. Again, any of for your memory intensive workloads. The last one is RDS optimized writes are enabled. So that will help again for high performance throughput kind of workload without new cost incurred. And at the top where it says the introduction of EC2 spot ready software, this is something I personally find it much beneficial, because now we can just leverage the spot instances with confidence, because Amazon has vetted the software products that can leverage the spot instances, and we all know that spot offers 90% more savings over on demand.
Thanks, Bindu. Yeah, so as you mentioned, a lot of the new instance types are great for, like, the new generations typically have a lower cost or at least a better performance ratio. So definitely take a look at that. Lambda has a snap start runtime now. It virtually eliminates any cold start issues that you may have had. So in the past, right, if you keep a Lambda function idle, it takes a long time for it to kind of get warmed up again. So with the snap start, it basically creates a snapshot of the environment. So the cold start problem is virtually eliminated. For Compute Optimizer, it supports external metrics. So if you're using Datadog and Dynatrace and other external metrics aggregation tools, then Compute Optimizer has integration with those external metrics as well. If we go on to the next slide, so around storage and storage particularly, EFS has a one-day lifecycle management. So in addition to the existing 7-day, 14-day, 30-day, etc., you can use 1 day. So after maybe 1 day, if a file comes into an EFS share, and if users don't use it, you can automatically transition that to a colder storage, so that even after 1 day, so you can save on storage costs. For DocumentDB, with Elastic clusters, similar to other kind of databases at AWS, you can scale as you need, so you don't have to over provision, and you can really optimize on that elasticity of the cloud with DocumentDB Elastic clusters. For management in the next slide, so a couple things here. Although it's not particularly related to cost savings, management is an important part of FinOps, right? So with delegated administrators, with AWS organizations, you can delegate admin access to lines of business owners. So rather than having a single master user doing all that work, you can delegate admin privileges to other folks within your organization, which helps with the management portion. AWS config has proactive compliance. So with config, right, you would usually have some rule, right? You would have to react to certain things, but with config proactive, right, you could have those set beforehand. So you're not always doing in a reactive format. And then for AWS Control Tower, if you want to provision any accounts too, you can actually have accounts set up with, pre-provisioned tagging strategies, or, only certain instance types for these accounts. Like you can have those built in before, so you can, you don't have to go in after the fact. You can provision those account templates beforehand before you actually launch the account.
Thanks,
Bindu,
Peter.
and
Go ahead.
No, I was just passing over to you. Sorry.
Okay. Lots of automation around the cost intelligence or kudos dashboards, the API capabilities. We all need these kind of SDK around to automate our visualization. So that was a good announcement. The Event Bridge pipe, I have personally used it in my previous organization, the Event Bridge for automation. And with this announcement of Event Bridge,
we're right up on time. So what's the takeaway you want to leave? What's the biggest one for you?
I would say just start using QuickSight more. It has more capabilities that we can use for our reporting and for insights.
Cool.
Okay. Great. Thank you all for that. I know it's hard to get all the news into one little thing. I guess just as a couple of follow-up questions, I'd love your feedback on some of these. I think that there were I guess in my view, there were a lot of there seemed to be a lot of news out of all the different cloud providers this time around that were sort of little evolutionary tricks there where they're trying to offer more of the cost data, more of the usage data in more interesting ways, tying it to, observability data and using external, external sources instead of CloudWatch, things like that. Is my impression there correct, or how do you see the announcements? How do you characterize the announcements from the different providers?
Yeah, I can go first. So practitioners are really excited about granular costs and they want more. They just want more and more. And that's the theme for everyone. Practitioners are also getting a lot of benefits out of recommendations. So yeah, we were totally excited for it.
Yeah, I can talk about a little bit about Azure. What I like about these features is that they will integrate the already existing APIs that they provide that. So those things can be seen from the control panel that they offer from the, let's say, the home screen. But we quite not use that as we use the APIs in order to do some automations on our side, on our homegrown tools. And all of this already integrates the existing APIs, which is great, that it will not break anything on our side. At the same time that we can combine with our internal telemetry data in order to produce additional information to our internal clients. So yeah, that would be my take on that.
Yeah, I think not to pitch too hard, but we had a working group that has been working for a while on an open billing standard for FinOps data, which is kind of carrying on from here. So I think that there was interesting news from all three of the big events from that perspective. I think in trying to get to a point where we can coordinate and ingest and normalize that data to use the FinOps capability words for that. Any big things that we wanted to see or that we expected to see out of the big announcements that we didn't see from any of your perspectives? Bindu, do you have anything that you were missing from reInvent? Yep, I think you're muted.
I would say about sustainability, we were hoping they'll announce more improvements toward the tool, towards the pledge was repeated. So that's a good thing to know that they are going to stick to their promise about renewable by 2025 and by 2040 net zero. But more we were expecting for sustainability that was missing.
I'll just second that for Mark Butcher automatically. You got anything from Google that you wanted to see announced that wasn't?
No, we work hand in hand. So we have worked hard towards the announcements, and we are really excited for the next year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I understand that Ignite is supposed to tell about new things that are coming. But one thing that I wanted to hear more is that I know for a fact from other studies that Microsoft plans to change the API that brings the billing data, that sends out billing data. So, and that seems to be a huge change. Would like to hear a little bit more of that, but probably Ignite was not the right forum for more information about this.
Yeah, that's a great call out. And I think that was, I was hoping for a bigger announcement around the cost intelligence dashboards or cloud intelligence dashboards as a product there too. I think coming together with, that theme of making this cost data more available. All right. I thank all of you for your input, and I'll hand it back to JR to move on.
JR here from the FinOps Foundation. Thank you for watching. Please go to FinOps.org if you want to get plugged into this amazing community. And of course, hit subscribe right here on YouTube to get all the future content. Hope to see you soon.